Well, I know. I seem to find myself there often.
All right, I believe we are live on YouTube because my red light is on. Today is March 9th, 2021. You are all welcome to the Vermont State Senate Committee on Institutions. I am Joe Benning, the chair of the committee. We also have committee members Russ Ingalls from Essex Orleans, Corey Parent from Franklin County, Dick Mazza from Grand Isle, and Dick McCormick from Windsor County. We are here to talk first this afternoon about the military section under section 11, major maintenance, land acquisition, renovations, and I had federal, I can't read my own handwriting, so that takes care of that. We've got several folks who have been invited to the conversation. I see several on the page. I have a list. I'm not sure whether one of you wanted to go first, but Ken Craig, I have you listed as the first witness. If you prefer a different order, that's fine by me. Let me start off by saying we are live on YouTube. We have 3 new members to the committee, although one was a member a very long time ago. One of them is a brand new legislator. And we have an unknown number of people who may be watching from the public who are always interested in learning more about their government. So we are discussing items that are contained in the capital bill, but as each one of you begins the discussion, it would be most appreciated if you would start off with a short biography of who you are, and then tell us how you fit into this entire section of the capital bill. And then we'll ask some basic questions and go from there. Ken, I'm going to come back to you. I was going to also say John Patry or Patry. I see your name on the witness list. I see your name on the screen, but I don't see a face on the screen. If you are with us, I was going to start by asking you a question in particular. I don't believe you and I have met before, but I've recently met a brand new deputy state's attorney in Caledonia County named Willie Jane Patry. Would that be a relation?
It definitely would. She's quite an amazing young lady, and that's my niece.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
She seems like a spark plug, and the best thing about her, Dick, is that she rides a motorcycle.
Right.
Does she like the helmet?
I don't know. I haven't asked her that question yet. We'll work on her. Okay, Ken, I'm coming back to you. Would you like to go first, or would you prefer to have somebody else go first?
Actually, sir, yes, this is Ken Gregg. I'm the Deputy Adjutant General for the Vermont National Guard, the military department. And actually, I'm here to basically prop up and be available, but I'm going to defer to Mike Blow, our CFMO.
Okay. Mike, welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Blow. I'm the Construction and Facilities Management Officer for the Vermont Army National Guard. I'm also the federal oversight for the cooperative agreement. And the state military department works in the same facility as me and several other federal technicians. And we manage the federal program and have oversight to the state program as well.
Okay. What we are looking for here is a basic explanation of everything that's going on in your department under this section of the capital bill. I do understand that you all appeared before our counterparts in the House not too long ago. So what we're trying to do is replicate what you told them so that we're on top of what they think they're doing.
Well, John, can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'll give it my best.
Or you probably have the documents in front of you.
Host has disabled participant screen sharing. So if Denise could share the documents, that might be. I got a notice that I can't share my screen.
You can, John.
I can.
Yes, I'm going to let you.
Oh, thank you very much.
The power.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, it said connecting with a cloud server, and now let's make sure you should see an image, a PDF image.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, Joe.
What'd you say, Dick?
Yeah, you're an image right there. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
Does
We're
everybody?
getting closer. We're seeing a screen that says Denise Deal's Zoom meeting.
No, I've pulled up the AMWS cover image. It's a project of the Mountain Warfare School that is underway right now up at the Ethan Allen firing range.
Okay, right now I'm not seeing that on my screen.
Okay, I don't know how that will work.
Did
These
you hit share screen?
I did.
Try it one more time.
We're gonna
Okay.
send Senator Mazza in there. He's
Oh,
gonna fix that.
all right. Now I have a choice. There we go.
Okay.
There we
Thank
go.
you,
We got
John.
it.
All
There.
right.
took care of
Senator Mazza got it for you.
it. Took care of it.
Yeah, must be.
So this
I
is,
was going to credit Denise.
this is the architect's rendition of the new Army Mountain Warfare School that is
Wow.
under construction now up at the Ethan Allen Firing Range in Jericho. This is a $27 million project, and it'll house the only Army Mountaineering Warfare School in the nation. We currently have this warfare school up there, but just thought we'd share with you the progress. They're working on the third floor steel right now, so it's out of the ground and hoping to be complete by March of 2022.
Wow, that's a big building.
Yes, it is about 82,000 square feet.
How much? 92?
82.
82. Wow.
It has billeting, a full dining facility, classroom. The large glassed area that you see, that's the assembly hall. And there's actually a 4-story climbing wall that's being incorporated. Some of the folks that run the school or instructors at the school, they've been involved in many mountain rescues, lots of different things supporting the disc mission.
Will guards come from all over the country to this school, or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not just the guards. It's actually all the forces can come to this. We've had other international students. We've had Navy SEALs. Yeah, the special forces.
I still got to go over there someday and see that. It's right in my backyard, and I've never been over the Underhill. I got to try that.
Yeah, happy to show you around.
Yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah, maybe when we're all shot and had
All right.
our social distancing all done and all that behind us, we can take a little committee tour of the building.
It's quite a place to see. Everybody tells me about it, but I've never been there.
Yeah, we've got lots of things we'd like to show you all. Lots of great things going on for the Guard. John, if you could pop up the 22.
Everybody see that?
Yep,
Spreadsheet?
we can.
So the capital budget request is reflected here. The teal color is FY22. Those are the things that we pretty much need to get done for the most part over FY22. We have a lot of facilities, and we have a good share of these are 75% federal share. So this generally represents the state share of the project. Some projects require more of a state share if it's on state land. And if it's a state facility on federal licensed land, then it gets a 75% federal match, 25% state.
There is a column there that indicates what the federal share is of each of the programs, not project by project, but the overall program. Sorry.
That's all right. So there's a lot of things that we really need to do to maintain these facilities. A lot of the state armories are 1950s, 60s vintage. And as you know, facilities cost more and more as they get older and older. And we're trying to do the best we can to keep them in good sustainment to support the troops and their state and federal mission.
Mike, are you able to tell us a little bit about each one of these requests?
Yes, sir. The roof replacements, those are generally have been 15-year roofs that we've tweaked 18 to 20 years out of. So we're trying to do 2 or 3 roofs each year to catch up on the backlog. The ADA bathrooms, that's to meet ADA compliance. We have completed, I'm going to guess maybe 3/4 of our state facilities with ADA compliant bathrooms, as well as adding a gender neutral facility and lactation rooms. Lactation rooms were a little further behind, but we have projects lined up for the next 5 years to try and accomplish that. Windows and doors, again, some of these windows and doors on these existing facilities are up to 40 years old, failed, and they're not energy efficient. So we've programmed out for the out years to try and accomplish this, over time, doing a couple armories each year. Insulation and glazing, again, that's mostly for energy efficiency improvements. And generally, when we do windows and doors and anything else to the building, we try to tighten up the envelope of the facility. Lighting projects, we've been able to get quite a bit of energy resiliency and energy security funds from the federal government. Where a lot of these are, again, 75-25, and we've gone through and wholesale replaced incandescent, fluorescent lighting fixtures with LEDs, and it's made a marked improvement on our energy consumption. Electrical systems upgrades, that's again, when you've got a 1950s breaker panel and you can no longer find parts for them, it's rather expensive to replace it wholesale. But we're at a point now where we really need to, due to code and safety concerns. Kitchen exhaust hoods, we are almost complete outfitting each state armory with the necessary kitchen exhaust hoods with the Ansel fire protection systems, because the kitchens do and can be used for state and such missions. So that's a code requirement that we're attempting to meet. The building 5 radiant heat boiler replacement. This building, I can't remember the year of this building, but it's gone through several renovations. It was initially a maintenance shop for the tanks way back in the day, and it's been renovated to accommodate the CFMO office and the state military department's function here on Camp Johnson. And the boiler is, if I were to guess, it's probably 30 years old, 40 years old, John. And we've recently installed a heat pump system to augment the heating and cooling in the building. So that will let us replace the boiler with an efficient boiler with less capacity, because it's just going to be helping during the coldest times of the month. More projects, more efficient heat pump systems in some of our facilities. We've got that programmed through the out years. The military construction additions and upgrades. We have in design, I believe right now, 5 of the state armories that we can do up to a $2 million project with federal support and a state match to add required space. Our typical armories are 13 to 14,000 square foot. The actual requirements for the units that size in the current world is about a 40,000 square foot facility with about 3 times the amount of space that they have now. So with available funding, we're trying to provide some additional space for them, training space, unit supply, locker rooms. Just, in the past 20 years, the amount of field gear that a soldier has doubled in quantity. So, they used to have a 1 2x2 locker. Now they need a 2x4 locker. And the drill halls are being used for locker rooms. And if we could show you some pictures or take you around, you'd see there's a real shortage of training administrative and logistical space in our state facilities.
How many guard members do we have now in Vermont?
About 2,500, sir.
Are we still servicing tanks since
No,
the
sir.
change over to air?
No, sir. The state went to an infantry brigade concept back in, I want to say the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So we went from an armor brigade to an infantry brigade state. And so those big tanks and howitzers and stuff are no longer in state. But there's a lot of ground vehicles, a lot of high mobility vehicles.
When I was first on this committee 10 years ago, Mike Hessen brought a few of us legislators over to Fort Drum. And among other things, he brought us to where the howitzers were firing away. And we asked if we could actually fire one. He said, no, but if you want to be a target, you can go out in the field and run and we'll see if we can hit you.
Okay, next item on the list was the Winooski Armory demolition. That one's slated for demolition this year. And that's,
I graduated from high school there, darn it.
wow. Well, unfortunately, it's a older facility that we cannot make any significant improvements on. It's on a postage stamp piece of land and it's loaded with PCBs. So the most economical way to get rid of it is to actually demolish it. And we're working on a replacement facility for that unit right now, which will probably be right here on Camp Johnson, the old Army Reserve Center that they vacated 4 years ago. We're in the process of acquiring that property. So that's a win-win for us because it's on federal footprint. So it'll be only a 25% state match to sustain it and maintain it.
You haven't been using that armory anyway in Winooski, have you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you have? Oh, I thought you moved everything to 40th Allen or up the.
No, we moved one of the units. Company B Maintenance was sharing that armory with Company C Medical.
Okay.
And Company B Maintenance moved over to Ethan Allen Air Force Base about 4 years ago. Then we have a line item on there for some design of the Family Readiness Center and Support Facility. I'm not sure how familiar you are with that organization, but it does great things for soldiers and families, either deployed or not deployed. And the facility that they're in is like a 1920s barracks that was renovated to accommodate some office space. And they're really short of space, and it's something that's really important to the Guard.
What exactly did they do?
They do everything from financial assistance to counseling, help people prepare taxes. They help, I have a white paper that I could share at some point, once I can find it.
So this is primarily support services, not anything like a residential housing for people coming from a long way away.
Correct.
Okay.
I'd like to also add on that, this is Ken Gregg, that program doesn't only support the Vermont National Guard, it actually is built to support all 42,000 plus veterans in the state of Vermont. So it's more inclusive than just the National Guard. It's a national program, and it's funded to support all veterans. And it's everything from helping veterans learn how to write job resumes, to financial services, to mental health services, and access to, gee, I need a new roof. How do I, they help them find options with various types of things. It's just a really extensive service.
And the feds don't offer anything with that?
What's that, please?
The feds don't offer anything for that?
That's how this program came about. They don't offer any funding for the facilities, but they fully fund the actual program.
I see.
So if I may add, the feds don't fund the facilities, they fund the program. However, whatever the family readiness program uses for facilities, we take out a hide from the guard. And with the current numbers, we are 400,000 square feet short of armory space for the Vermont Army National Guard, based on criteria and requirements. So taking it out of hide is very difficult.
Okay.
And then we have a line item in there for preservation of historic buildings. SHPO requires us to do certain things, and that's one of the things that we don't always have the luxury of funding. We just don't have the money in our budget to do it. We had to actually scrap that off this year.
What classifies as an historic building?
Begins with a 50-year mark. Once it's
Okay.
50 years old. We have some significant historical property here on Ethan Allen Air Force Base, as well as the Ethan Allen Firing Range. We have an old dog compound. We have buildings that were hangars back in the 20s or 30s, and we have to preserve them. But pending your questions, that's the FY22 list, and then FY23 has similar projects like more roofs, more windows and doors, minor construction. The FY22 minor construction line 13A, that's for the Westminster Armory. We actually just received the federal share of that. So we will be able to do a close to $2 million addition, which will provide them classroom space, fitness space, and some more administrative space. And then we tried to program a number of those out through the years. So if we can continue at least with level funding, we should be able to give some love to each armory over the next several years.
So I'm watching the numbers go up throughout the next several years. Certainly from 23 to 24. When is it you put together a package to give to the governor about what you're requesting?
So we have done that for 22, 23. 24 we will do, is it next year, Ken?
Actually, no, I think it'll be the year after that we bring the 24-25 biennial to the governor.
That's correct. However, officially that's the timeline. However, we've started having these conversations with the governor's administration, particularly because in 25, if an armory project happens, it requires a $4 million state match. So we started socializing some of these concerns. Like, for example, the family services building actually funding the building after design, and some of these other increases that are potentially going to be required if the federal government comes forward with its share for some of these projects to be able to happen. So those conversations are ongoing. Just the formal process, like they said, is just prior to the next biennial.
Is recruitment as good as it always was? Are you trying to, or is it slipping over the years?
We have almost 500 vacancies between the Army and the Air.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been, demographics wise, it's been a real challenge. As a matter of fact, we were with the National Guard Caucus this morning, specifically talking about recruiting. Fortunately, our retention is fairly high, 88 to 92%. So the attrition side of it, fortunately, is the saving grace that we have low attrition because the recruiting side has been very, very challenging for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I heard that. It's just, that's sad, knowing that you can't get them, you know?
We're getting there. We're putting programs in there, tuition benefit definitely help. We have a recruiting lead generation incentive program. So we've got programs where we're starting to turn the corner. We're just not sure that the overall demographics in Vermont will support us ever getting to a full filling those 500 vacancies.
Is that a nationwide issue or just Vermont?
It seems to be, we have a number of states in New England that are 100, 102, 105% actually. So it seems to be primarily a Vermont challenge. The one thing that the state has going for it, and it ends up recruiting heavily out of state, transfers and stuff like that, is the infantry brigade. For some reason, it's almost 30% of our soldiers are from out of state that fill the ranks of the brigade. And that I think it's just the nature of the unit and the fact that it's a mountain unit is very attractive. So we get a lot of neighboring state folks that join the Vermont National Guard, although they maintain their residency in those other states.
Anybody from Colorado?
No, well, that's a two-sided answer. No, not directly. However, there's 5 other states that make up the total construct of the brigade. So the brigade headquarters is here in several elements, but then we have elements of it in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Colorado,
Maine.
So it's a multi-state brigade.
I was just wondering if the guys from Colorado showed up and looked around and asked, where are the mountains?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, anything else you want to tell us about this section?
I think I've covered the majority of it. Yeah, I don't think there's any more for me to add, but I'm here for any questions.
Committee, any questions? Don't hear anybody screaming. Is there more to this PowerPoint?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, if we could take that down, we can see each other again. Kim Fideli, I see you also on here. John, anybody else want to weigh in on this conversation?
I think Mike has covered it pretty well.
Okay. You've already been over to the House. Have they given you any indication on what they're doing with your requests?
Sir, Ken Gregg, so far everything's been positive. We haven't heard any significant concerns or pushback.
Okay. Well, if we happen to get some alterations to the bill when we receive it, we may ask you to come back and make a second pitch just to let us know why you think you might need to be higher on the priority list. But we appreciate you all coming this afternoon and want to wish you well in your recruitment efforts. Keep up the good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you all for coming. Committee, we're going to move on to section 1, specifically lines 23 through 39 on the spreadsheet. I'm expecting Jeremy Stevens and Eric Philcorn, but Denise, I don't see any of them on the screen.
I'm supposed to be talking to you, but I was muted. They'll be here in about 10 minutes or less.
10 minutes or less. All right, committee, I guess we gotta
Take a little break.
take an 8-minute break or so. How's that? Come back at 2:10.
What's the
Yeah.
what's the next section?
Section 1, lines 23 through 39.
Okay.